do again, and what to do next time to protect himself from that. So that's going to be dope. So pass it around to all you artists out there, to all your friend artists, Jewsby. Let it be known that next Thursday we're going to touch base on something that's very important to a lot of different artists that want to get signed.
Another like tell all
Yeah.
almost about, I like doing those. I like doing those pieces. I kind of want to do more of them at times. There's no rules to what we have to do. We like what mental health all the time, but
Hmm. I just
everyday
want
life
to
and what
though.
you do is
Like
that.
I said, if we are the People's Podcast, we got to be able to water, and that not just one aspect, not just your mental. We got to be able to help you in so many different ways. I think if somebody would have told him beforehand what to look out for, I think he probably wouldn't have got sucked into where he did.
Right, no warning sign. It's always nice to have a heads up on things.
Facts, facts. And then if you do end up signing one, now you know what to look for. You have the lawyer there, you have this there. You know what I'm saying? This way you're prepared because nobody wants to be caught with their pants down.
Yeah, wow, we really better dial it back on this one. We're already talking about it. It's pretty easy
I'm
to.
just saying we're gonna talk about it on Thursday though. So it's I'm just getting the heads up because I'm gonna start posting the flyer. I just really want people to know that we are the People's Podcast and they can tune in into us for everything.
Absolutely.
So tonight's subject is about opening the door to self love. What do you think, Henry, when you hear that? Opening the door to self love.
Well, that would imply that you're behind a door that's blocking you from self love. So, probably the steps we're going to take to start going there. I don't think self love is at the top of everybody's list all the time. Should it be?
Yeah. What do you think, Jewsby, when you hear that opening the door to self love?
Um, I think just paying more attention to it, allowing yourself to treat yourself with more respect and with more consideration. Because sometimes we do put other people before ourselves, and usually, a lot of things can you know become off kilter in a sense. When you devote all your time to other people and you don't focus on yourself. So
Facts. Facts. You know, the biggest thing that I learned was to forgive myself. We never forgive ourselves for things. And once we give ourselves grace and forgive ourselves for different things, I think that that should be number one. Besides acceptance, I think we honestly should be able to forgive ourselves for not knowing or to know and to allow. Even though we did know, we still allowed it. So
Yeah,
you
that falls
can't.
into that category. Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't fucking lag. Sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to say that falls into the category of negative emotions where you can talk specifically on like forgiving yourself, guilt and shame lead to that. Like
Regret.
not giving yourself a break, regret. Yeah, they're all ugly cousins in the
They are.
in that neighborhood of doubt and self-loathing.
Yeah, and you think that does that come from thinking that you should be where you're not, or do you think that comes from not properly loving yourself?
Well, it can be really specific, you know, to a lot of things. You could be holding on to guilt from the past
Yeah.
or shame or something. It could be anything. Fear of failure and fear of success are two things that immobilize people, and I talk about them a lot because we don't recognize them all the time. And you might
Mm,
not realize you're just kind of scared of taking that step.
mm,
What did I
mm.
say about this podcast coming up? Like the hardest part about going to the gym is opening the door,
That's true.
walking out.
That's true. That's true. And what did I say before? Consistency. You can do it for a day, but will you be able to do it the next day, the next day, the next day? That's the biggest thing is consistency. It's like anything. It's like sobriety. We're gonna do that 10 minutes. So,
Oh, now you're doing it. I love it.
but we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about that because like it's anything. It's we have to be able to completely heal If we want to learn to love, because love doesn't hurt. You
There's a
know,
song called Love Hurts. Was that guy wrong?
yeah, he was, because that wasn't proper love. And if you loved yourself the right way, that love wouldn't have happened.
Let's
Love,
say can be something that lasts for a little while and then disappears, right?
there's seasons for it, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So that aspect of it, I suppose, can hurt. Like aspects of love can probably hurt, but love as a whole probably doesn't hurt. It's a beautiful emotion, but that's why it hurts so bad when you lose it, right?
You know what I've said, and I said this a couple times. I'd rather love than never love at all. I'd rather experience that giving it and receiving it than never having it in my whole entire life. And I know a lot of people that are older that never got that chance to experience it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
somewhere, somebody, probably a bunch of people are sitting there really pissed off and lonely, and that sucks. You know,
Mm.
I feel for them. Why does that
So
happen?
I'd like to eliminate a few things if I possibly could.
Okay.
I'd like to eliminate regret. Them are one of the big things of learning to love yourself correctly. Eliminate regret, because you
But
have to
what if you
remove
regret it?
stuff. You have to remove stuff to be able to gain.
That's scary, though.
A lot of things are scary. Change is scary.
Hmm.
But to stay in the same spot over and over and over and over your whole entire life is scary.
Regret's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because it already it already happened, you know.
Yeah, and you can't undo it. So why have any feelings towards it? I want to think that if you go forward and you're looking in the window, in the mirror, in the windshield of the car, you're driving forward, you're looking in the windshield of the car. Regret would be like the rearview mirror. We don't look in it often. Our eyes should
Some
always be on the forward. I mean, every now and then we should glance, but like it shouldn't be our main focus. Our eyes should be on the forward.
well, yeah, that's kind of how we view things as learning experiences, you know, bad and traumatic events and processing them. Regret's the least healthy way to deal with that.
Jewsby, what do you say about regret?
Um, regret is a funny thing. You know, we could have regrets, you know, about many things that we do, or you know, people we've come in contact with simply because of our lack of effort, or you know, us, you know, putting too much effort into a situation. So, you know, it really boils down to the things that stick with you the most. Um, you know, that's why I'm, you know, a big advocate of, you know, always keeping your mental house clean and, you know, always, you know, doing self maintenance because, um, you know, you never know what it could be, um, you know, specifically that you're suffering from until you sit down with yourself and, you know, compartmentalize these things. But, you know, like I said, regret, you know, we all have them. We all go through them, but, you know, it's only a certain type of regret that sticks with you.
True, true. I really would love to just eliminate that though, because I want people to realize we allow what we accept and we already did it. It's over with. It's something we can't undo. Most time when you regret something, it's something that's already been done. You learned from it though. I want you to start seeing the positive of every situation. If you start looking at the positive of every situation, you're going to be able to receive positive. You're going to be able to give yourself positive. You have to remove some of the negative. It's that healthy balance.
Right. Let's say you have zero regret. Do you
Right.
think that could be a bad thing?
I think that's a great thing. I don't regret anything.
So what if, I guess in the grand scheme of things, if you have nothing to regret, then you won't have regrets. But if you do something that is perhaps a mistake or something, it's a learning experience, especially when we're younger, to regret that and to grow, to say, wow, I regret doing that, so I'm not going to do it again.
Okay, now
So,
you're confusing regret with remembering. Regret doesn't have to stay within your mindset. It can be a remembering thing. I remember I touched the stove. The last time I touched the glass, it was hot because there was flame behind it. I'm not going to do that again because I remember that. Doesn't mean I regret doing it because I learned.
well, like regarding like maybe someone gets hurt because of you.
That you learned. If there's a learning experience somewhere attached to that, it doesn't have to be in the lines of regret. Regrets is holding some kind of feeling to something you did wrong that you can't undo.
Right. So I can dial it back maybe and say to better for me to understand this concept is to say regret wouldn't be the same as compassion. So
Not at all.
you would feel bad about doing something to somebody by accident or by whatever means. Then
Yes.
you wouldn't necessarily be regretting that. You would maybe feel bad about the situation, but maybe it's not regret, it's compassion.
Hmm. If you learn from it, it's no longer a regret.
That's
Everything
true.
happens for you, not to you. So once you start realizing and removing any negative perception, it's all about perception. It's about changing how we see things. There's nothing wrong with having those emotions. It's how we see them.
That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm always coming from. If you recognize an emotion, I always say it's okay to have those emotions, to let them pass through you because it's normal. But holding on to them and let them become detrimental to your health and psyche is never a good thing. That's when we really start pushing those boundaries and
Yeah,
envelopes.
yeah. And you got to remember, you stepped on the tag. Maybe because you've seen it there and you never picked it up. But would you have remembered the next time you pick up the tax if you never stepped on it?
Well, what makes people have regret?
The feeling of unchange, I think. What's he say? Just got off work. What did he say?
Matt Withers. Hey, what's up, man? We just got off work. In due time, I'll be back in my bag and chiming in. Man, we'd love to have you back, Matt. We love you here.
And I didn't replace you. I just put Jewsby over you because we had nowhere for you. You
There's
are
room on this
definitely
screen for more.
you're definitely not replaced. Definitely not replaced, brother. Never replace my brother.
That's awesome. No, but
So,
shit. What I
if
was
but listen, if we change how we seen it, if we changed how we seen it and felt about it, maybe it would help us change how we feel about ourselves.
yes. What I was kind of getting at with that is that something that really has to spark regret, and that thing would be maybe even lasting effects in relationships and interactions with people and things after the fact.
How about
So
this?
I guess
How
yeah.
about this? And not to interrupt you, but how about this? The girl that was drinking and driving and that killed my sister. She may regret getting behind the wheel. Now, if she decides to be sober and takes classes and starts to speak on don't drink and drive, she can't regret that no more. Because now she's able to learn and pass something on from it.
Heavy stuff to bring to the table to use as an example, Kimberly. I love the way you push boundaries, and my condolences always. But yeah, that's overcoming regret, I would say.
Yeah,
It still doesn't make the situation right,
not at
but
all. And I
you,
don't forgive
you
her. I
right.
don't, and I do forgive her. I'm not blaming her for something that was meant to happen.
No,
Some things you can't blame people for because it's God's plan or the creator or universe or what may you. A lot of things though that we deal with in that, and I got to change, everybody's so small. I'm going to change everybody because there's a lot of people on here now. But things that we deal with and that we are able to pass on and change in our life should not be regrets. And that ain't it either. Apologize.
Oh wow.
We're very small on a thing, and I'm trying to make all of us big. And I
This is not bad. I really like this. Hello, David.
Hey,
And
everybody.
we're talking about regrets. No, you know what? I don't regret every time I hopped into a car and I could have been her every
yeah.
day of my life almost for years and years and years. And I do everything I can to stop drinking and driving now. So yeah, if I let regret eat me up about that, it would kill me. Or I'd
So
end up in
I
a bottle
really,
behind the wheel.
so if I could pass anything on to that lady, I lost my sister because of a moment that she had, and I can't make sense of it. I can't wrap my head around it. But if I could pass on something to her, is that I'm not blaming her, and I don't hate her for it, and I don't wish nothing ill upon her. I forgive her. And it's not because who cares about my sister and whatever, it's a life. There's two things that really stick with me and that help me get through things and see things differently. One, well, three, I'm going to say three. One is that we're here for a reason, a purpose. And once our purpose is served, we will expire or transition on. Our time here will be done. That's just the bottom line. We're here to fulfill a need and then go. That's it. And tomorrow's not promised to nobody, so we don't know how long we are here for. Two, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason because I have faith. I know that there's a reason that this happened. I may not know the reason because it's not my job to ask why. I trust in the Most High. And then three, I'd rather feel love than feel hate. Hate is heavy and it will age me and make me sick. So if I can say I'm not happy she did it, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her for doing it. Now,
That's
my
good,
nieces and
Ramon.
my nieces and nephews, they probably can't receive what I'm saying because it's their family that they lost, their mom. Once they see the growth in love and forgiveness and being able to receive positive energy from the dark space, then maybe they will see it that way too. But at the end of the day, that light is so beautiful within inside myself that I don't want to feel nothing dark and heavy.
No,
And that's
admirable.
where I get regret in.
That's quite admirable. We're all just clumps of cells trying to make it in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
That part.
So David, do you want to chime in
David,
on
yeah.
opening the door to self-love? What's that mean to you, and where does regret find itself in your life? Like, where did you change from it, remove it, whatever the case may be?
Man, I came in the thick of it, didn't I?
Yeah.
It started off thick.
It's funny. Definitely divine conversation. That's what I call it. That's for damn sure. Regret for me. Well, first of all, self-love for me comes up doing anything like physical, like going for a walk, working out.
Okay.
I call them natural workouts. I did the gym for a while, and I realized that I love being free spirited, so I love being outside. So nature has kind of become my workout area. So anything that involves walking, spending time by myself, spending time with the Most High, the powers that be, on my own time is like the ultimate form of self love and self care. As far as regret, a phrase that comes to mind is survivor's guilt,
Mm-hmm.
where you may start out with a certain group of people that you really love and care about, whether that's a job, whether you guys are creative brothers and sisters, and you get to a certain point through blessings and whatever God has for you, and the people that you started with are not there because for whatever reason, right? Whether they, God forbid, something happened to them, you guys just lose track of time and go in different directions. Um, there is a bit of regret that could come with that because, especially when you always want people to do well and you want the people in your circle to do well and you want them to share the success with you, whatever the success may look like, right? Whether it's something small or something big. And you may have a specific group in mind that you want to share it with. Because when, quote unquote, when it was just you guys eating ramen noodles, it was just you guys eating ramen noodles. I'm painting a picture, forgive me, but um, and then you make it out of the ramen noodles, and how metaphorically everybody's eating lobster and steak, but you guys aren't eating lobster and steak together. You guys are eating lobster and steak at your separate tables. And I think that there is a sense of regret that comes with that because it's like, well, this was a pact that we had made that whenever we got to a certain point, this is something that we would do, whether it was travel, however it may look. And I think that the regret could come with that. And I think the way to deal with regret that comes with that is to, uh, of course, cherish the time spent. Sometimes things may come back around or people may come back around. It doesn't always mean that once somebody's gone, they're gone indefinitely. Sometimes people may need time to separate. Sometimes people may need time to grow. And I think there is a big part of regret that could come with that if you don't deal with it. And if you don't just think about, well, this was for a certain time frame, this was for a certain season. And now, like you guys said, it's time to embrace something new.
So, do you think there's such thing as healthy regret? Do you think regret is healthy?
I do. I think it could be healthy to a certain degree, especially when it comes to like reminiscing on things.
So, like we said before, you weren't here yet, but we said this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, for you, regret would be remembering, because we did speak on that earlier.
Yeah.
So, remembering is a form of regret.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
You
the
can't look
definition?
fondly at something.
What is the definition? Sorry, Henry, I just want to know this real quick. What is the definition of regret? Can someone tell me? Can someone search it and see what they say?
Yeah, I gotcha. I'll get your textbook, your Webster up.
Because I would like to know really what the definition of regret. Because for me, it feels negative. So, but I love how other people see it because that's what perception is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want to know what really the whole definition of it really truly is. Because
Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but hey, regret. Feel sad, repentant, or disappointed over something that has happened or been done, especially a loss or missed opportunity.
So it's a negative thing.
I am with David somewhat on this because I feel that negative emotions, when under control, are part of a healthy, functioning human mind. Sadness to me can be very beautiful. I've found a lot of solace in being the saddest I've ever been in my life.
So sadness is not considered a negative, though, then?
Still sadness, repentant. Repent means you feel bad over something in appreciation of something else, right? Of yourself or God.
Valor, we're wanting to know, is regret a negative thing, though? That's what we're wondering. Because we put regret in underneath the things that you might have to remove to receive self-love, the proper self-love. So I want to know if regret really is something good.
If it helps you grow.
It could be.
Maybe if you don't hold on to it and allow it to eat you up in a negative manner, they all go hand in hand. So that means that they kind of are negative forms. It can go either way, she said. What is that, Henry?
Lovely Showtime says, and if you are feeling any of these emotions, that mean that you are aware of the situation. Yeah, it's
No, she said this first. I apologize. Read that first.
regret, remorse, and repentance goes hand in hand. Yeah, remorse as well. It's kind of.
Can you unchange anything, though?
I think you can. I mean, it's kind of like when you make
Something that's been done, though, already. Can you unchange a past thing? You can make the future thing differently and learn from it and grow and not do that again. But can you change the past from happening? It already happened. You can't wipe it away.
You may not be able to wipe it away, but you can find the lesson that was meant to be learned and do something different.
Facts.
Yeah.
So what I was getting from that part, right? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I want to put a pin in it because that's where I was getting. If it's a learned experience, why would we regret something from learning from it? Because we grew from it. We acknowledged it. We appreciate it. I just want people to see things differently in a positive manner. I'm not saying remove the ideal from it, but start seeing regret positively, not in a negative form.
Well,
Get rid of regret altogether and start feeling empathy for it, or start.
Well, that's when we make amends, right?
Start learning and seeing it as a learning experience. Don't see it as a regret. If you live with regrets, then you doubt. Then you have doubt.
Absolutely, that's where repentance comes in. So let's say you're living with regret from something you did to somebody, and then after a while, that regret or remorse for it propels you into trying to go and fix the situation, maybe to talk about it or something. So you are going to end up losing that regret. But I guess in the time, that regret could have been a tool for you to rebuild a friendship.
Facts. So then holding on to it eats you away and causes holding on to that regret heavies and weighs you down. Because you can't
David,
undo it. You can't undo it.
But then also, if we're talking about making amends with people, the other person has to be equally open.
Facts.
Right? Because
and it all depends on your approach, right?
Yeah, because you can have good intentions.
What's that say then, real quick? I apologize. Go ahead, David. And I just wanted Henry to read that last one I just highlighted so we can get to the next comment.
You can make sure it doesn't happen again. That's a part of being remorseful. Yes.
And then what were you saying, David?
No, I was just going to say, like, both parties at that point have to be open, right? Because you can have good intentions behind wanting to make amends, but if the other person is still what I'm going to say, heartbroken or bitter,
harboring,
harboring, and they go, you know what, I understand that, but no, I'm not making amends with you. Okay, that's fine, but at least you did your part.
So then you lose that regret. Then you no longer hold on to it no more because they won't make amends with you. So that means that it must have happened for a reason.
You're making amends if it feels good on your side of the street. Sometimes David's absolutely right. If you have to make amends with somebody, sometimes it is not possible. And it states that exactly. It's to make amends.
I get that, but I'm trying to get rid of the word regret. Because now that you went and tried to make that situation better, you tried your hardest. Well, this person doesn't want that to happen.
It's so about your personal growth.
So now what are you going to do with that word?
Regret? I think regret is only to be used in sparse amounts, like alcohol. You can have a really good time with alcohol, but if you sit there and just slam alcohol, it's going to eat you up and destroy you from the inside. I promise. But regret will do the same thing. So it is healthy to have it perhaps in sparse amounts.
Yes, facts. And no longer let it feed with you and stay with you. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the point I was trying to get with. So in order to open up the door to self-love, we have to remove the negative definition, the negative perception of regret.
Yes.
What does this say?
But it's Danny Holmes. Oh, everything I went through made me stronger. So I feel like I needed all of not so pleasant experiences I've had in my life. I used to be regretful until I realized it was meant to happen to help me grow. Yes, and we can always be grateful for each day that we overcame the battles that we have fought before. That is something like making amends. The thing is really, really powerful and important to remember that you won't make amends with all people, but you make amends with people basically by your own personal growth. And you got to keep in the back of your head, at least for me, to say that I don't fucking want to talk to Henry or whatever anymore, but whatever, glad he's doing good. And that's sometimes the best we can do.
Yeah.
It's just, it falls on us at the end of that.
What's this comment say, babe?
We have lovely showtime again. What the other person feels is not your issue. You are trying to wipe yourself clean of the regretful thinking.
Thank
Yes.
you. That's my girl. See? And that's what I'm trying to say. Because when we open the door to self-love, we have to remove regret.
True.
We have to. Because if we hold on to that, we're not going to be able to experience that self-love properly. I know a lot of people say this to me. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. And I say to them, do you love you correctly? Do you love yourself correctly, though? Because just because we love ourselves doesn't mean we're doing it correctly.
Right. I used to say I loved myself after a Klonopin and a bottle of Heaven Hill.
I get that. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of people say, I do love myself. And I'd say, do you, though? You tell me what your definition of love and how do you properly love yourself? Because if you're here talking about a situation you can't undo and you're not giving yourself grace and you're beating yourself up over it, you must not truly love yourself correctly. And if you're still watering yourself down for other people's agreements or to live up to their expectation of what they think you should do, then you're not loving yourself correctly. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that should matter to you is you. Everything else is out of your control. Not being heartless, don't say, say fuck this world and fuck everybody who talks to me and I hate everything. But no, be realistic and realize you're doing the best you can with pure and genuine intentions and you love yourself.
But you know what? I could sympathize with people who feel that way.
I can too.
Especially when
I can too.
I'm not going to say you've given your heart to the world, but you've been as genuine as you could be, and people still find ways to kick you in the fucking teeth. When that's not energy that's...
Is that your problem, though?
No. But I do sympathize with people that might have a fuck the world attitude.
No, but I'm saying at the end of the day, if you remove all those negative things and see how you see the world and see how beautiful it truly is and stop worrying about things you cannot change, you will correctly love yourself without that fuck the world attitude. I read this last one, Henry.
I apologize. Lovely showtime again. I apologize to plenty of people who didn't accept my apology, but that does not mean I didn't try. I don't carry that weight of remorse or regret after that. No, I have people who owe me like $5, $10 or whatever. I'm sure I owe somebody somewhere, but I call that asshole tax. It's the price I paid to never talk to that person again.
Okay, let me use an example.
$10 is fine.
I want to use this for an example, and I'm not talking about me all the time because I can't talk about nobody else because I don't have grounds to speak on someone else's life. So I'm going to use mine for example because that's all I know. So at the end of the day, the person that tried taking my life, I don't regret nothing. I love who I am today more than I ever had my whole entire life, and it took me a long time to learn to love me. So I don't regret one thing about any of that situation. Did I want it to happen? No. Do I still love that person? Yes, because I don't have no hard feelings towards them. I love them from afar, though, because at the end of the day, I love me more. If they didn't value me in my life, then they don't need to be in my life.
Mhm.
And that's it, because I love me correctly. When you love you correctly, you don't hold on to things that are not of you, because nothing happened to you, it happened for you. If you learn from it and you're mindful of it and you grew from it, that was the reason for it.
It's a good example, Kimberly, but damn, that's a hard plateau to reach for a lot of people. It's a hard situation you went through and had to overcome and think about every day.
That
Yeah.
is shit compared to me loving somebody who didn't love themselves their whole entire life, though. 9 years wasted, and I don't say wasted. See, 9 years I gave love to somebody who did not love themselves. I rather have went through something that I grew through than dealt with something that wasn't of me because they didn't love themselves at all. Does that make sense?
So you're trying, you don't, yeah, it does. So you don't want to look at those years as wasted. You said wasted.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's when I corrected myself, because that's what we tend to do as humans.
That's
And
how you're getting rid of regret.
that's right. And that's why I changed how I seen it, because it's all about how you change your perception. I'm not perfect. I'm striving to be.
You
Mhm.
did that real time. You know, we have these thoughts in the back of our head. Our subconscious is running, and it's very hard to
Yeah.
change, to tell your subconscious not to regret something. That's something you got to really, really train. And even then, it's going to be hard to overcome.
You know
That
the
shit's
word,
running ahead of time.
you know the word but, everybody uses it constantly, and a lot of people realize that there's no reason for it. It's redundant, yet
Mhm.
they still do subconsciously. What's this, babe?
Lovely showtime. And that's a learned behavior. You literally have to learn to love yourself because they taught us to hate. Yeah, they sure
They
did.
sure did. They sure did. And that's
This
exactly why I said wasted. And it wasn't because I believe I wasted that time, because I don't think I wasted that time. Like Henry said, my subconscious holds on to trauma.
Mhm.
Our memory is a trauma memory. It's a fight or flight. It's survival mode, like David said, at all times. We are constantly thinking we have to do things to survive.
Yeah.
Once we remove that survival tactic and the fight or flight, then we can allow ourselves to just be
Mhm.
so
and love
true
ourselves
story.
correct.
True, Kimberly, true story. I'm sitting there and like I don't remember what grade. It was early in whatever my tenure of school, and I really wasn't paying attention. But I was in social studies, and I read in the textbook. It's something that stuck with me was they said big cities have a lot of poverty and free floating anger, and they had like pictures of Chicago and Detroit and shit. And I'm like, hey, it's Detroit. I've been going to Detroit my whole life. I'm like, yeah, some of the buildings are interesting. I love Detroit. But there's a lot of burnout shit there. And I remember it said there's a lot of free floating anger. Free floating anger. And that phrase stuck in my head. And then I went on to like study it and look into it and shit. No one talks about it. But there is so much free floating anger and hatred going around. And I think it's really exacerbated lately. But
Find the definition of free floating anger and see what it says. I
yeah,
people use words miscorrectly all the time, and they hold on to what they think the word is supposed to mean. If you take what is it, etymology, the study of words,
Analogy.
and if you learn all the words that you are saying and how incorrect you are with that feeling that's attached to it, maybe you would change how you see things.
so check this out. This is fun. Free floating anger is a generalized feeling of anger that doesn't seem to have a clear cause. It can be unpredictable and difficult to express because the person experiencing it can't identify what's setting off. Some ways, free floating manner, apathetic resignation, some healthy way. It's your temper is just flared up just looking at anything, right?
For no rhyme or
And
reason.
especially with social media.
No rhyme nor reason. Jewsby. Jewsby.
Calling them out
Yeah.
like that.
Free floating anger. Is that a waste of time?
Yeah.
He's all about keeping your mental health clean, house
For
clean.
sure. I definitely think it's a lot of free flowing anger. Sometimes people are knowing of this anger and it infuriates them more because they don't know how to change it, or it can be perpetuated by your environment.
Mhm.
A lot of times we surround ourselves with things and people that aren't healthy for us, and we tend to adopt some of the ways that they feel, or we tend to, I would say, fall into that trap of not wanting to be happy because the people around us aren't happy, or we don't want to try and make people feel as if we're trying to insult them with our moods or anything like that. But at the end of the day, anger is always a self-inflicted problem. You choose whether or not you want to be happy or angry. So um I believe it's up to that person to really uh do the work for themselves, and in order to find out why they're experiencing this anger, and find certain solutions in order to change it. Otherwise, that's what they'll succumb to.
That's that
Mm.
shadow work. That's that shadow work. You have to get inside yourself in order to get outside yourself.
That part.
Find out the root cause of why you woke up mad. Because guess what? Somebody didn't wake up today. But you had that opportunity too. And you're mad about something.
Right? Anger shouldn't define who you are. We all have a hard time expressing emotions. That's what Kendall said. Yes.
People do have
And
a
that's
hard time expressing emotions, but at the end of the day, that's your problem,
Mhm.
not nobody else's. If you have a
Well, it's like,
hard
look
time
at road rage.
expressing the emotion, then maybe you shouldn't say it. You can't make an excuse for why people are assholes.
Mm-mm. Look
And
at
let
road
alone,
rage. Can you imagine how ugly like the fist
I
fighting would
know,
actually be if we weren't struck
for
in like
real,
a little towns?
for real. That's a lot of free floating anger constantly. I think that a lot of people are unmindful in themselves and they're just walking around here. And a lot of them are non functioning players, you guys. Realize that, okay?
Look what Lovely Showtime says. When dealing with the law of attraction, it's called the default setting. Yeah.
That part.
Lovely comment.
I like that shit. That's so true. That's it.
Yeah.
And I used to say there's a lot of wasted skin around here. And then I realized we needed those people. We need those non-functioning people in here so that we can learn from this lesson. We have the players and the non-players walking around together. And that's
Right.
just how it is in life.
Yeah.
Either you're ready for change and you're going to be mindful of yourself and you're going to be the difference
Mhm.
to receive
That
difference.
guy in your inbox is there to teach you a lesson about life, where he's like, "What you doing? Hello, beautiful." And then you're like, "Fuck you." And then he's like, "Well, fuck you, bitch." And then turns into this nightmare monster from hell.
I
You're like, "Okay, I learned."
I doubt he's in my inbox because as soon as he said hello, beautiful, I blocked him.
Oh, yeah. I just use the base level awful.
I'm just
Getting
saying.
hit on.
As soon as they say hello, beautiful, I'm like blocked. Not because I'm mad about the word beautiful, because I know I am.
You know what's coming.
But you don't know me and you're only judging me on what you see of me. And that means you're only wanting something that you just see.
Right.
That part.
That, not really conversationalist. That's bad.
I can't do that. I'm a sapiosexual. You can't come at me with hello, beautiful. Try something bigger. Try something smarter. Try something that is not. You call me boo, we're done. I'm telling you, you've been blocked. I give you a second chance when you give me the thumbs up because I don't like it, not because you're doing anything wrong. And I tell you, it personally bothers me. So half the time, 9 times out of 10, I will change the icon,
Mhm.
the emoji thing, because I don't like it. Has nothing to do with you.
So do you feel like the thumbs up is kind of like just dismissive? Like it's kind of just
This is
The
what
emoji?
this is what I think the thumbs up means.
Yeah, kind
I
of.
have a whole
Some people-
conversation with you, and I'm in its business. And I can't even get a okay. I get a thumbs up.
Yeah, it depends too on what you just said. If you just dumped out something that you're really proud of or accomplishment and they just give you a thumbs up, wow, fuck you too, bud.
You feel me? But that's my problem, not yours, because that's probably not your intent. So when I said I remove it because it's a problem with me, not you, I haven't grown from that yet.
Kendall's no, that's right. Yeah, you don't grow from that.
That's all
Kendall,
it is. I haven't grown from it yet.
Kendall says I get mad when I'm getting sugar daddies try to text me and I tell them off all the time. It's annoying. I know. Send them my way.
I was too loud for that one. I
Give me
was
some
ready
sugar.
for it. I was ready for it. His name is Tony.
Fuck you too, Tony. I was in a podcast mood tonight. I was late and shit. It was perfect.
But no, listen this. At the end of the day, though, you have to be real with yourself and realize, is that your problem or is it theirs? Because sometimes it's our problem. Danny told me something the other day, man. And I wish he was on to be able to repeat it. And maybe he'll put it in the text. But he's got that shadow book and he wanted to check it out. And he said, you know what I learned through that shadow book? And I'm not going to go word for word, Danny. So please don't hold me to this when we speak again. I'm giving you my perspective of it. I did hear you and I received exactly what you said. But even though you watch the movie and you hear it, you still break it down to what makes sense to you. So I'm going to tell you how I interpret it, because I don't remember word for word what you said. I don't remember what I had yesterday. Okay. So it has nothing to do with you. It's me. At the end of the day, he said he didn't realize that sometimes maybe he was the problem in situations.
That's facts.
Because he held on to things.
That's a revelation for oneself and opening the door to self-love.
He held on to things that he should have been able to let go. And he didn't realize that he was a problem for that.
I'm a constant problem for myself and others.
Oh my goodness. No, you're not.
No, I am.
No, you're not.
It's okay.
You're not. No, you just
better.
feel like you are, and maybe to certain others, but that at the end of the day is none of your business. You're not.
Well,
because I need you, and if there wasn't a you, I wouldn't still be here doing this.
It's just part of me, Part of me is I want to cause like small mischief. Like I used to want to like derail trains and shit when I was little because I was bad. But I've moved down to just like unscrewing something. I don't know, man. I just don't want to burn things anymore, and I love that about myself.
You realize, I'm going to tell you something, and someone told me this a while ago, because I realized once I got on the journey of healing and spiritualness, people have been just attracted to me and coming to me, and it's been like-minded people and people above me in knowledge and in power and in rank, because we all have that food chain position, whether you like to believe it or not. Even if I am God of self, there's still a God higher than I am. So when I say this person told me we are all kids. We're all kids. It all depends on what age you're functioning in at this time.
That's true. No argument here.
I had chicken fries earlier.
See?
They were good.
And Henry functions at a 12, 13-year-old sometimes. And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Wait. Nah.
Mischievous and want to get into trouble and funny and goofy and...
Oh, I'm very professional, but I want to break stuff.
Yeah, see?
Well, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because I'm a rebel myself. So kindred spirits all fucking day.
See? But once you realize we're all functioning in kids, because time's irrelevant. Man made it up. Everything's perception and illusion. What'd she say? She never asked her age. I'm not talking about acting your age, babe. I'm not talking about acting your age. Mentally, we don't grow up past a certain time. We just this is what we stay at.
I know people who work fucking straight for weeks in a row, right, in a factory to afford gigantic monster trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's still a certain age within their soul of being a youth. And there's nothing
Well-
wrong with that because we never grow. Because honestly, listen, at the end of the day, age is just something that man told us we were. The reason
Right.
why we're aging is because we keep telling ourselves on that Earth date that comes around here that we're a year older. So our body automatically starts acting that way. Our body automatically starts feeling that way. We automatically start thinking that way because why not? We're being
Well,
fed.
why the hell
We're
not?
being fed to hate ourselves from the time we were born. Be quiet. Don't speak unless you're spoken to. Your opinion doesn't matter. Stop having your imagination.
Suck it
Talk
up,
too
buttercup.
much. Wipe it off. Brush it off. You're a man.
You
Stop
can
being a
have your
pussy.
truck too. I really got to say that for the commenters or anybody listening, there's nothing wrong with monster truck either. Have your monster truck. There's nothing.
Listen, there's races where I live. There's races. They all get together and do races with boats and remote control boat races. Remote
are
control
cool.
car races. So
That's cool.
there is absolutely nothing wrong with whatever toy you think you want to have because at the end of the day, it's no one else's business nor life.
That part.
Shit. It's the agreement that someone put upon you. If you think that we think that's wrong, then that's a problem with you, not us, because at the end of the day, we would never tell you what you're doing is wrong because that's not our place.
Yeah.
We mind our own business over here.
I like Legos. Everybody likes Legos.
I just
love
picked one
Legos.
up tonight and put it up. Yes, but we mind our own business over here. We are the People's Podcast. We're here for you, not to judge you.
I have a Millennium Falcon I've been looking at. I'm gonna go buy one.
There you go. See,
That's
and there's
that's
nothing wrong with that. You
every
think-
nerd should have that there in the journey.
Do you think you would love yourself correctly if you realize you're just a child?
No.
What?
Well, I wasn't listening. My attention span is childlike.
That's okay. So I said, do you think you would learn to love yourself correctly if you realized you were just a child?
Yes. I'm still thinking about the Millennium Falcon. I'm sorry.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't know what it is, but I get it.
It made the kettle run 50 parsecs.
I don't know nothing about it. You guys are on a whole nother level over there. Just saying.
You know, cheering the boys.
I still have my lightsabers from the Star Wars days. I still have them.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll
So
get this on with Star Wars.
I really want people to be able to remove agreements that were not meant for them because they weren't theirs.
Mm.
I want them to break them chains that hold them down and define that they define themselves on because they're not yours. I'm not saying remove what's going on in this realm and not be aware of it, but stop letting it control you because it's not for you.
Yeah.
The only thing you can
Stop
worry
it.
about is what you can control. And that's one thing and one thing only. And that's you. Everything else is none of your business. If people walked around felt that way, maybe there would be the chance of having that utopia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are
I've
worried
been
about
preaching
too
that.
many things. Too many things. They're worried about way too many things that has nothing to do with them. And we can kid
Instead,
them.
you could
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say instead you could be like Kendall who hates stepping on Legos and collects Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
And I know a bunch of people that do it too that are older than you, Kendall. There ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
I want to collect Barbies and make them goth as shit. That'd be awesome.
I know a lady that does that too. She has a YouTube channel. Go check it out. And a TikTok. She takes all the Barbies and wipes the makeup off of their faces the paint and redoes all of them and the hair and everything. She takes the hair off and puts new hair on them. It makes them all goth.
Now's the time. I'm
It's
gonna do
dope.
that.
It's dope. You should check her out. She's pretty funny. But at the end of the day, do what you want. Do what you live to your highest, fullest potential. Not potential. I don't like that word. Passion. Your highest, fullest passion and excitement. That's all we're supposed to be doing here.
Yeah.
If we hold on to regret, remorse, self-loathing, pity, none of those things is loving yourself correctly.
That part.
So there is steps, and Henry don't like steps. So we removed steps and made doors. Open up the
I
one.
don't not like steps. They're just not always pertinent to me to follow them the way they're set out.
And you're not, because they're there by somebody else. Somebody else set them down for you.
Right.
Maybe you might fly through things without steps. It's your reality, Henry.
But if you don't like the steps that were before you can make your own steps.
That's what
Right.
change it. Or change it. Don't make them steps. You don't have to have steps.
That's what I do. I have a completely different aspect I go about it, and I'm very happy with my sobriety. I really am. I'm really happy the way it worked out, the way it goes, and I pride myself on my uniqueness, and that has nothing to do with anything I do or the way I look. I'm happy to be me.
I want to read the description real quick, okay? And I want to read what the description came up with when I typed in opening the door to self-love and see what good old Google said. Learn to love yourself. You can practice self-care, set healthy boundaries, acknowledge your strengths, challenge negative thoughts, avoid comparisons to others, be kind to yourself, forgive yourself, embrace your flaws, practice gratitude, and actively work on understanding and accepting who you are as a person. And then it gives you the steps, but they called them key steps to consider.
Steps are really good. Like, those are good steps.
They don't have to be steps, though. You don't even have to have steps. Like he said, It doesn't have to be in that order whatsoever. Or like you said, Henry, it doesn't have to be ordered. And it doesn't have to be in a certain way. The only thing that has to be in order is when you're cleaning your chakras out. Because you can't do one without doing the other. And it has to align or will not work.
You said order. Order is really important. Order is something really important to me because I think ordering and ordered makes people apprehensive to actually follow through on anything. And I went through court-ordered programs like RSAT, and a lot of people don't know what that is, and training courses in jail and halfway houses and whatnot I was living in off and on. And it was all ordered on me. And I was forced to get around, and everything was really hard. Actually, it still is. I've had a license for 7 years, but it's what I went the last time to rehab before anything got ordered on me. I had I had a very small accident that had huge repercussions, both good and bad for my life. And the good repercussions were that I went to rehab on my own, and I really, really fucking paid attention. I didn't go there because the court ordered me to. I went there because I wanted to. I sat there and I got pissed off at myself and forced myself awake to listen to all the speeches and things people were doing so I could absorb all the information, because everybody around me didn't want to be there. They were fucking off. I caught people fucking in the stairwell, or at least trying to. It was wild. And I realized how important my own thought process and loving myself enough to stay awake and participate was. So...
Fact. That's taking control. Huge. That's taking control of your life.
That part.
I'm proud of you.
That was the turning point.
I'm proud of you. And as a child, because we all are, sometimes it takes us longer to realize that part. Sometimes
Fuck yeah.
it takes us longer to take control of our own lives because we want to blame someone else for our lives being fucked up.
Don't relegate people. I'm not talking about people you see, who's don't shit on people who act or look younger and stuff. I'm not trying to talk about myself at great length, but I got really abused growing up, and my childhood was pretty much fucking taken from me. I didn't have a solid happy breath in childhood, and I just started drinking. I just transitioned into drinking, and
Yeah.
that fucking sucked. So let people be if they're not hurting you. Let them do what they want to do. Let them be a kid.
It's
Yeah,
their
you don't know
life,
what they're
though.
doing.
It's your life. At the end of the day, who cares what somebody else thinks or says? If people were mindful of themselves and only worried about themselves, that's what I said. We would reach that utopia.
Right. That's the two-part question. The two-part answer, though, is one, love yourself and protect yourself enough to fend off assholes giving you trouble like that. Be yourself and be unique. And two is me saying, don't be a fucking asshole. Don't pull the fire alarm and
That's
trample
right.
people to death.
Yeah.
And that's the others listening who maybe don't love themselves enough to be nice to people. Fuck.
Okay. I apologize for not being who you think I should have been to you.
I apologize for not doing what I wanted to do sooner.
Henry.
Wait, what are we apologizing for?
Whatever you want.
Oh. I don't want to apologize for anything.
There you go, then don't. You can get to the point where you no longer want to apologize for anything. But at the end of the day, we can't do nothing about what anything that I said or David said.
That part.
And
I kind of missed the lead into that and I got confused.
It's okay. Because I said I apologize for not being who you think I should have been to you.
I guess right now as I'm sitting here, I apologize for beating the shit out of myself for 19 years. Sorry, old me.
There you go. And
There
at
you go.
at the end of the day, now you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Why is somebody else still harboring that unwanted air? Jewsby, apologize.
I apologize for not always feeling apologetic.
Perfect.
Sometimes, sometimes I should have these feelings, but I stand in what I believe in, and sometimes the truth is necessary, and you can't apologize for that.
That's right. I apologized to my daughter-in-law, and I didn't apologize to her. I apologized for how she received what I did. I said to you, I don't forgive what I did. I'd do it again. I forgive how it affected you and how you received it.
I apologize for being a workhorse, and at the expense of being a workhorse, it cost me relationships.
But would you be where you at today and having who in your life today if you weren't? You know what I'm saying? Who's in your life now?
Significant other.
And they wouldn't have been if you had those other relationships.
That's true. I give you that. That's true.
So, can't apologize for being a workhorse because at the end of the day, it's your life and you took control of it. Nothing happens to you. It only happens for you. Those people, if they were meant to be in your life, they would have still been in your life whether you worked or not.
That's true.
I will never
I feel
back again. Doesn't mean I don't think of work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I'm always working. But I'm a Capricorn. We're born working. And we don't give up on nothing. Absolutely nothing.
We fucking don't. We sure don't.
So
We
if
sure
we
do.
can't figure it out, we're gonna figure out how to figure it out. I'm just saying.
I'm stubborn. I'm stubborn. I'm a Taurus. Yeah,
It doesn't
I
matter.
have
You're similar to us. Do you know that Tauruses and Capricorns have the same? We're similar.
I haven't given up. I'm just covered in a lot of abrasions. You know, I feel strongly about the word apologize because I spent a lot of time saying I'm sorry growing up,
Facts.
and
Facts.
largely because of the shit that I went through, and I had to beat that out of myself. So you asking me to say I apologize is almost like saying, Henry, just take a little sip.
And I
That's
get
what it
it.
feels like a little
And
bit.
I get it. And I get it. But at the end of the day, you can't apologize for something that was meant for you. That's what I'm saying. I can't apologize for being who I am. I
Right.
can't
Well, that's
apologize
why I
for
said
being
what
who I am. Are you kidding me? But that's what I said. I apologize. I'm not who I am that you think I should be.
Yeah.
I felt bad about leaving you guys apologizing and then going, you know what? I stand firmly and I
But
don't
did
want
you
to
hear what
apologize
I
for exactly the
apologized
same
for,
thing.
Henry? Did you hear what I apologized for?
No, actually, my
I
ADHD kicked in on that one.
I apologize for not being who you think I should have been.
Oh, yes. I thought you re-apologized for something.
No, I'm saying I can't apologize for who I am. So I really
No.
didn't apologize. I just said to make you feel better that I'm sorry to you to make you feel better. But at the end of the day, I'm not sorry. I'm not a sorry individual.
Oh, Lord, it made me feel horrible.
Because you can't apologize for anything. There's no
Yeah.
reason to.
I
You're living the
tried
best
to.
life for you. And
I am.
obviously you're doing a great job at it because you're still here doing it.
I'm doing my best. I'm part of a podcast, and it's my duty to go, Kendall Cobb, I forgive my past self 100%. It's okay to start. It's okay to learn and let go from life lessons. I apologize to myself of my own worth. Fuck yeah.
And I appreciate that. And I have so much to say to you on a personal note. So if I hit your inbox, don't take it personally. Or if you do take it personally, it's okay. You're allowed to, but you accepted it. You got to accept it because you're inviting it in because you made a comment. So later on, I'm going to say something to you. But we're going to leave that for now. But at the end of the day, feeling unapologetic is a beautiful thing. And that's one of the steps to self-love. That's in the line of having regret. Remove the regret.
Oh, yes.
Remove the apologizing. Remove any kind of negative feeling towards anything in your life if you're going in the right direction, which is forward and growing. When you want to open the door to happiness, are you opening to stand in front of the door or are you going to open it to walk through it? Which one is it?
Removing them negative things that seem positive, like people pleasing and indulgence.
Doesn't matter, whatever it may be at the end of the day. What was your intent to opening up the door, though? Henry.
Okay. What was my intent to open up the door?
To stand in front of it or to walk through it?
Oh, for a while to stand in front of it. I decided to walk through it.
Okay. And then since you walk through it, how do you feel?
Well, not dead is a really good one. That's the first one that comes to mind. But new.
So, with that being said, let's take away steps and just keep doors. Every door we open is another door for better opportunities for you. Every door we open is a greater door for self-love. So every time you open that door, walk through that motherfucker.
Kimberly, do you know what my principle is that I've pretty much held with is leveling up. I don't go with steps. I think we level up.
That's
and it's
right.
a nerdy ass video game thing, but that helps me.
And
like when I feel accomplished or something, I go, I'm not going to follow these steps because my mind can't even write a journal. If I write a journal, the next 2 pages are going to have half of a song written on them and then a crumpled up doodle of something I was thinking. I can't do it. I cannot keep a journal straight. So what I do is I just say I leveled up at things.
And there's nothing wrong with that, David. What were you saying?
I am not walking through the door. I'm kicking it down with steel toe boots on. Um, and you know what? I like the idea of levels.
There you go.
Steps sound like they take forever.
There you go.
Like, I like the idea of levels. We may have to share that.
And that's okay because it's all about perception, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about regret now that we've talked about it? Do you still think it's a positive thing and we should hold on to it? Or you think we can let go of that to get something bigger? How about leveling up? If we had to remove something to gain something, we have to remove regret now. So, because we're going to gain leveling up, okay? In your vocabulary. Do you want to hold on to regret or do you want to get the word leveling up?
I like leveling up.
Okay, then. So we're removing that. And that's what people need to do with life. You need to tell yourself something positive and remove something negative.
I received that.
So that self-affirmation, when you go on that little walk and that journey you do with the Most High in yourself, tell yourself something positive. I want 5 things from you, which you love most about yourself. Henry, go.
5 things I love about myself.
Yes.
Oh, I love my adaptability. I love how I play guitar. I really, really enjoy how I write music. And I love how I sing. Never mind, scratch that. I love my peer support future I'm living in. And I think I'm dead sexy and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Thank you. David, 5 things you love about yourself.
I love my ambition. I love my never say die attitude. I love that I am relentlessly curious. I love that I can make an adventure out of pretty much anything. And I love being surrounded by people that let me just dream audaciously.
Jewsby, 5 things you love about yourself.
5 things. Well, first and foremost, I would have to say I love the connection I have with God. I feel like that's really been one of the leading forces and guide me in the right direction in life and making the right decisions. I love that I don't take everything so personal. In life, we tend to overly dramatize certain things that are said to us and done to us, and we internalize these things as personal attacks when, sometimes it could just be nature's course, and we don't understand. But um, I definitely, appreciate that about myself. Um, I appreciate the people I have around me, whether they come through for me all the time or not. These are the people that God has preordained over my life. These are the people who are here to show me when I'm going the wrong way or to tell me when I'm doing the wrong things, when I want to hear it, when I don't want to hear it. The people who've extended any level of support or any level of push to anything that I have shown interest in my life. I definitely feel blessed to have those people around me. 4, I would say, I love my mind. I love the way I create. I love the way I dissect things. I love the way that 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 hunger for more has been instilled in me. I'm never satisfied. I'm always calculating, and I'm always reevaluating things that I've done and trying to find ways on how I can become better at doing them. So that's definitely one thing that I love about myself. And the final thing I would say is I appreciate the fact that I've been one of the people that God has chosen to see life for exactly what it is. When I was able to remove that veil, that reality tends to put over our eyes, and I was able to see things for exactly what it was. it's kind of like that movie They Live.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
there's a movie that Roddy Piper was in. It's like a horror movie.
mm,
Um,
Great
and
fight
they
scene.
had like these sunglasses that when you put them on, it showed you all of the necessary evils around us that are, propelling us to do certain things or giving us certain routines. Get up, go to work, obey, pay your taxes,
mm,
this,
mm,
that, and the third. And it's kind of like that. I have those glasses on 24/7, but it doesn't frighten me. You get what I'm saying? I'm not one of the people that was freaked out when I saw it. I was actually grateful for
mm.
seeing life the way it is. And in turn, it has allowed me to move a lot more differently than I would have if I wasn't able to see life for what it is. So,
Mm.
that's pretty much it.
So Kendall and Lovely Showtime, I'm going to ask you guys next after I say my 5 things.
Oh yeah. Sing.
I love. You want to say something, Henry?
No, I was actually reading the comment to make sure it wasn't a new one.
I love that I mirror people, beautiful, intelligent people. I love that I mirror somebody, the greatness in them.
Mm-hmm.
I love that I am a vessel of love from the Most High with pure and genuine intentions. I appreciate love. The fact that I too see the world for what it truly, really is, and that there's a bigger picture, and it's bigger than all of this, and this is all temporary, and this does not really matter. It's the higher vibration in what we're doing next. I love the fact that I know that you got to get inside yourself in order to get outside yourself. And I took that step to do so. And I also love that I'm not coming back here anymore because I know how to remove that cycle of learning because I'm learning what I have to now while I am here. I'm watering and receiving. I love that. So, Kendall, Lovely Showtime. 5 things you love about yourself. How do you guys feel once you hear and once you've spoke those 5 things? Henry?
We'll see. How do I feel?
Yes.
Like I could do it again, and I really like that
Yeah.
with different things.
David, how do you feel?
Rejuvenated, man.
Yeah.
I want to go another 12 rounds.
Yeah. Dewsby, how do you feel, my brother?
Definitely feeling liberated. I feel renewed. I feel restored. Every day I wake up with a head full of new ideas and, the drive that can, propel me anywhere I want to be in life. So the journey isn't complete. My job isn't done. So,
Mm,
it just feels, it feels good waking up, having another crack at, completing this puzzle of
mm,
life for sure.
mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a frequency just leveled up. Your energy, my energy, positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
We made something exist. Here you go, Henry.
Lovely Showtime. My obedience, my compassion, the way I love, my knowledge to share my anointing, and I love the way I have taught myself to be aware of the world to live in, but not to be as part of it. To live in it, but not be a part of it. Yeah, that's really
Ashe,
important.
baby. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Lovely, always protecting the peace, giving good pearls of wisdom on that.
Ashe. And you know what? We need each other. We need each other because we are all connected as one. Now there's that healthy balance of the good and the bad, and the yin and the yang, that we have to have that because it's balance. But there's always in limitation and moderation, because anything in abundance and too much of is never good for you.
True.
We would love food all the time. And I'm not talking about the kind you eat. I'm talking about the knowledge within our mind. If we weren't able to shut our minds down once in a while, we would feel overstimulated. Healthy balance. When I'm around, and David, I don't know if you came on with Jewsby before, because I keep saying I want you guys to come on at the same time. And I think this might be one of the first, if not the second. But I appreciate you two coming on together, because when I'm around you all, and I don't like the word you all when it's in a negative connotation, because we're not all in a collective whole, but we are all one with matter. So when I'm around you all in a positive frequencies, beings, spiritual beings, high vibrational beings, I get overstimulated because I do mirror a lot and I feel energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the medium when they walk in the room and they hear the other side constantly and they can't shut it off.
Mm.
When I say y'all, it's YAWL. That's how it should be viewed.
And when I say it, because it's not about how I say it, it's about how you perceive me saying it. And for some reason, that's a shitty thing, but that's how this world runs. They always run on an outtake, not an intake. And it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. Why would you worry about how I said something and not worry about how you received it?
That part.
I can't wrap my head around that. Because
You can't expect people to all the time to know exactly where you're coming from.
no, you can't. But at the end of the day, that's not your problem. If they don't receive how you're saying it, then that's when they need to say, "Could you explain it again?" Because I don't quite get that. I don't know where you're receiving it.
But the majority of people, let's be honest, don't even do that.
Not at all, because we
Right,
talked about
because-
this, Henry, the attention span.
Right, because you can have the purest intentions behind what you say, and people will still get upset.
Mhm.
Or you'll ask them to repeat it, and then they get mad. So now they don't want to repeat it. And it's like, well, if you had said it clearly the first time, I wouldn't have to ask twice. I wouldn't have to get a better understanding of it. But I don't know. I think that comes from maybe lack of patience, maybe not being sure where your energy is coming from. I'm not sure where it comes from.
We talked about triggers. Now, triggers, are they your problem or another individual's? The person that caused the trigger or that ignited the trigger, or you for having the trigger?
I think it's more so on the person who caused it.
Really? Because if you didn't have the trigger, then you wouldn't worry about nobody snapping it.
Do you think there's any trigger that transcends being able to talk about what happened with it?
Yes, but then it wouldn't be a trigger. It'd be a response to something that happened. You would have a response to something that happened. If it's a trigger, then it ignites something.
People are really focusing on trying to avoid certain things and stopping people from doing and saying certain things and not focusing on conflict resolution, which makes more sense in the long run.
Or listen, I've been wanting to talk about this, and I'm not going to do it too much tonight on this because it's huge. It's another day, another time, and another pigmentation of my skin. But at the end of the day, certain things really, really, I can't wrap my head around because it's not for me to understand or overstand or understand. Well, however you want to say it. I like to think that nothing is beneath me, so I don't say under. But a lot of people don't receive understanding or overstanding. So when I overstand it, I'm looking down on it and I'm trying to receive it properly. And when I get it, completely get it, I feel it within my soul, I'm understanding it because that's where the Garden of Eden is. That's where the tree of life is. That's where God lives, within self. Anything outside of self cannot be my problem. I'm still over here trying to worry about self because, damn, I do things all the time without thinking of anything else. I gotta think of self a lot because I just randomly do say in whatever. Henry, I was about to do a show and I said we needed some bathhouses.
Yes.
Henry informed me we do not want bathhouses at a show with little kids and homeless people.
Okay, that second part's really important. If you had that otherwise, I might check no.
And I said, why not, Henry? And Henry said, what? Do you know what a bathhouse is? I said, I must not.
To all the listeners,
I
what
probably
is it?
could get in trouble just now for saying what I said about maybe another time and another pigment. Because somebody took what I said personally because they have a trigger. Is that my fault they have a trigger?
You know what? Triggers are fun. Triggers are fun. When I post, if I want to fight with people, I make a post about functional alcoholism. That is pretty much a guaranteed going to turn into a war zone in the comment section. Now, do I want it to do that? No. Only if there's learning involved and it gets concluded in a concise way. But that's rarely the case. But that always sparks controversy. It's not my mission to attack people. People will feel attacked by that because it becomes off as inflammatory. It's completely unintended to be, but it comes from a deep-seated personal issue about control. It's not me attacking, but that's how people perceive it. You can say overstand. The common lingo is understand. If you know that you are trying to overstand and you're imparting that knowledge onto other people, that's good. But generally, people, if you say you're overstanding them, they're not going to understand what the fuck you're talking about.
But that's not my problem, though.
No.
Broaden your educational, broaden your language, broaden the proper words of what you're using, the etymology. I'm not really good at pronouncing things properly, but I know what they mean.
Yeah.
People could perceive that as condescending or aggressive.
And that's your trigger, not mine.
I'm not triggered. You
I'm
are.
gonna say you. Saying the people and not our people, because we are the people's podcast. I said one time something and it came across racist. And I don't remember exactly what I said because I was just being free. And then when I said it, at whose house I was at was Anthony's. And Anthony is a gentleman of a different pigment than I do at this present moment, standing in the doorway and was waiting for me to finish what I said. And then he went and sat down. And it had something to do with this podcast. And it had something to do with the fact that at the beginning of the podcast, I was accused of getting guests on for my own gratification and sexual pleasure. When I wasn't even prostituting Henry out yet. And I wasn't prostituting myself out. At the end of the day,
can we just rewind that?
I said, yeah. I said, yeah. And then I was honestly just supporting people. But because I was in the human flesh that I am, in the pigment that they see, and that's sad that people are going off and judging people by what they see with their human eyes than what they and a soul. Than a soul. I was accused of being a white girl, having black men on as artists, so I could sleep with all of them.
And I didn't make no money from pimping, so I don't know where that came from.
I was pimping you, bro. I'm supposed to make the money.
We've been rich.
I gave you a cut.
What's that mean?
A cut of nothing is what I got because I wasn't doing
Are you one of those pimps? I don't deal with those types of pimps, Kimberly.
I apologize, but that's how it was. At the end of the day, I was accused of doing something because I cared to give people a place to be heard.
I mean,
So-
you're involved in.
So our stuff changed. So our slogan, we always had a slogan. So our slogan changed. It got to the point of, if you support you, then we'll support you. And then that had to be changed, because then people took that and grabbed that and ran with it and said, oh, see, now she only wants people that are already doing good with a big following so they could come on so she can get a bigger following. So then it went to, allow us to water you so we can also get watered and grow together. But honestly, at the end of the day, if you don't fuck with you, how do you expect me to? Shoot.
But that sounds like you can't win with anybody.
And that's not my problem.
Like, that's what it sounds like.
No, but it sounds like they have triggers, not I. The trigger is in the form of the person that hasn't, not in the person that, said something. You're allowed to go and be a workhorse, my guy. It's your it's your life, man. It's your life. If them people did not stand beside you and straighten your crown and be your peace, they weren't meant to hold the torch while you led.
That's a bar. That's bar of the fucking night.
I'm just saying, as a man, your job is to lead. There's the food chain, most high, men, women, then everybody else below. As a man, you can't lead me if I can't bring you peace, because you won't be able to see if I don't hold that torch.
I receive that.
So that's not your problem that you did what you were supposed to do for your life. That means they weren't meant to be in your life. I love most about Danny is that he's not trying to change who I am and accept me for who I am and allow me to be who I am. But at the end of the day, he has no choice, because I am whoever I say I am, whether he likes it or not. But I love him that I love him just because he's him. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be me whether he's around or not.
That part.
Henry said something, and I talk about this all the time. And Henry said, you are the most important person in your world, because if you didn't exist, neither would the world to you.
Yeah. I am.
Realist.
I am the most important.
That's the most realist thing I've ever heard.
I don't mean that to be condescending either. If the lights blink out for you, you should be the most important person in your world too. If the lights blink out, I don't exist. No one exists. Matter
only exists when you give it attention. People are only in your life because you're on the same frequency with them. If they're not on a frequency with you anymore, then that means your frequency is higher and theirs stayed lower. Or they surpassed you. Or they
that was David.
Jewsby. If I'm wrong, am I wrong?
No, you cooking for sure. You cooking.
So at the end of the day, if you are aware of what is going on in your reality, that's the only thing you would focus on. Don't put a cap on it, though. When I've heard people say that, well, another way of making yourself big in the career is start small and have smaller goals. That's another thing I can't wrap my head around. Why be a fish in a fish tank when you could be in the ocean or above the ocean and you could create the ocean? We are all gods that we are meant to create with our hands, our mind, everything. We are powerful beings, but we are limited by our allowance and acceptance. We allow ourselves to be limited. We allow it to be. Stop having triggers, man. Stop having regrets. Stop seeing anything in a negative fashion. Don't blame somebody else for your trigger.
Yeah, go back to that last comment because I wanted to read it, but it changed. Danny says facts, 100, 100. And Lovely said, you for having the trigger. You have to learn to control yourself.
Facts.
It is,
Facts.
you know, that's what I was talking about with having fortitude. Now, you might not know it. You know, I've seen situations where fireworks went off next to my ex-military buddies, kind of unannounced, and was that a trigger? It triggered some PTSD for sure. Absolutely, clinically, that's what happened. It was really, really bad. And there's not much you can't look at somebody going through that and say, "Come on, get up."
No, but you
It's just
didn't
like,
know. You didn't know they had
no,
that.
that's how we treat that situation.
And that's how people should treat every situation, because how am I supposed to know that was a trigger to you if you didn't tell me that was sensitive to you?
That's why I said conflict resolution is so important.
Yeah. People got to realize the only thing you can control is yourself. Anything outside of it is none of your business, because if you're doing the best and being mindful of you, these human emotions are twisted. Remove them from your life because they don't make it any better.
Right. The more people respecting each other, we can heal groups of people like that, Kimberly. Not we, but just anybody. Whole groups of people can benefit.
It is we, my guy.
Let's do it.
I know who I am.
Listen to them. Show respect. You know, this world's full of anger and ugliness, and we win by not being weak, but by being fair. And we're all in this together. You know, not cutting each other's throats anymore.
I'm extremely powerful. And I don't care who's upset by me feeling that way about me. Because at the end of the day, I love me some me. And it's not hurting you. Because I'm not telling you you're not extremely powerful. If you don't feel that you're extremely powerful, then that is not my problem. Jewsby, are you extremely powerful?
Without a doubt.
I'm a force of nature. That's what I always say.
Would you be upset, Jews, because I said I was extremely powerful?
Not at all.
Not at all. So when somebody else has a shine in their light, you don't be upset by the shine in their light. That's only people that don't have that light. Those that are trying to dim you down is because they don't have that light within themselves. Show them the way. If they want to learn it, they will. If they don't, then they won't. I've been doing this podcast for going on 3 years with Henry. Has Henry been on every single episode all the time? No. Have I? Pretty much, but a couple I didn't. Did Henry stand up and take over when I needed him to? By damn, yes, he had. Against all his knowledge of technology and everything. In moments where it was hard for him to come on, he still did.
Stress
I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't told. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't told by somebody else to do it. When the universe brings you people into your life and they say something to you, if you don't know them from anywhere, they're messengers. You're meant to hear that. Even if it was something that hurt your feelings. You were meant to hear it.
Right? Hold on. Lovely Showtime says everybody have a certain light inside of them. They have to try to take the time to find it. Yes.
That's right. And that's opening the door to self-love.
Oh. Very nice.
I know. I love you, Henry. But yeah, so it's your time. It's your life. Take charge. Or don't. Because if you choose not to, then shut the fuck up because I don't want to hear about it because I'm taking charge of mine. I can't worry about whether or not you care about you like I care about me. Only thing I can worry about is me caring about me. It's hard to be out here in these streets and try to be mindful at all times because we got a lot of non-functioning players that aren't mindful of themselves, walking around here doing whatever they want to. And I'm over here with Dharma trying to have that inner peace that no one can touch and affect. Say, excuse me, just walking through. Because everybody's trying to throw their bullshit at me as if I am the problem why they are miserable. When I'm trying to do the exact same thing you're trying to do, that's breathe and walk through this little thing here, this maze that we got going on. Everybody's dealing with something. How you handle it, that's the problem. That's the solution. That's the answer. That's the key. That's it. That's the leveling up. I'm honored and grateful that we did this. And I wouldn't be able to do it without Henry by my side. That's not just my co-host. That's my son to me. And not my son like I gave birth to him. That's my universal being that I am so proud of. Every time I see his face, it gives me joy. And that his growth is a gift to me. Every time. That's my person. And I love him. And that's how it should be, though, in life. That's how it should be in life with people. If your life is miserable, then look around and check your surroundings and start throwing things away from inside of you, from your thought process. And that's why Jewsby always says, clean your mental house. That's important. Because if your feet are dirty, don't come walking around inside my house because I like a clean floor. If you have baggage, check that at the door. That's what he's saying. If you are not mindful of your actions and you don't realize what you say before you say it, then shut the fuck up because you probably shouldn't say it. That's not what he's saying. That's what I'm saying.
I appreciate how we can pretty much just always call. I always picture Jewsby's like working, like wrenching on a car or something. Who knows what he's working on? And then you're like, "Hey, Jewsby, run!" And he's like, he turns the torch off and like turns around and then just spits facts like right off rip. He always got something great to say on deck. I appreciate that. Or he's just sitting there listening. But
you know what I think it is? I think Jewsby's in the laundry room in the quiet place in his house, or his car, in the quietest place in his house, and he's absorbing like a sponge.
Don't say anything, Jewsby. I like the mystery.
Because he knows the universe. He knows that he needs to hear this and speak when he needs to speak because the universe speaks to him. Jewsby is my tribe. I'm telling you. That's my mirror.
Y'all on the money tonight. Y'all on the road.
That's my mirror, but don't tell us what you're doing, Jewsby.
No.
At all. Because at the end of the day, the mystery is great.
It's fun. It's fun.
It's fun. So, Henry, we're going to leave with some lasting words. Do you want to play a song or do you want to just leave with lasting words?
I'm gonna leave with some lasting words. I'm all over the place. Why not?
Okay. So how do you want to end it?
I don't know. I don't really know how to end it. Sometimes I always feel bad about you having me play and shit sometimes. But
oh my goodness, Henry.
Okay.
Henry.
I want to say
hold on. You know what your playing does for me? I'm able to sleep really good at night knowing that you played a song on live, and everybody got to hear it who was meant to hear it. I feel good when you play. It rejuvenates me. It feeds me.
Okay.
You are my sun in my dark spot, Henry. Not because I gave birth to you, silly.
Oh, I know.
Your
That
life
was
lightens my soul. Your life, you're just knowing your existence is here gives me light in my soul. You're my
I'll
son.
play my leveling up song for you because I love you.
Okay.
This is how the West was won. This town ain't big enough for both of us. I tell myself that there's so little. Maybe I'll just go and see Lois and try my luck at the next town. I think that it's coming down. Look at the faces in old photographs. I notice how they never laugh. I wonder, did they ever have some fun? I'm a rodeo clown from a one-horse town in the shit I wear. The sun goes down, I stand my ground by the smoke down the west was wrong. Can lead a horse to water, but you just can't make him drink. And if I'm headed for the gallows, seems like a quiet place to be. And when they cut me down, look at the faces in old photographs. I notice how they never laugh. I wonder, did they ever have some fun? Oh, I'm running up clown from the walls and in the shit I wear. The sun goes down, I stand my ground by the smoke and gun. It's how the West was won. Maybe one day I'll change my way, put the bottom down. Maybe one day we will leave this little godforsaken town. Never turn around, never turn around. But I look at the faces in old photographs and notice how they never laugh. I wonder, did they ever have some fun? No, I'm running up the wall, sound in the shit. The sun goes down, I stand my ground by the smoke and gun. That's how the West was won. Who's that one?
So, Henry, I just
Oh
want to
no,
say this.
I'll leave it
Some
at
things
that.
that as a parent that we tend to love about life, and as a woman to feel wanted and needed and appreciated. And when we have that empty nest feeling, that's why we got our grandchildren and all this other stuff, because we want to feel wanted, needed, and appreciated and whatever. As beings, we want to feel wanted, appreciated, and cared for, regardless of our sex. So, never, ever, 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 ever have the feeling that you have to feel sorry for me because I'm able to be blessed by loving you.
I'm too sorry.
Well, you just said to me you feel bad for playing
About
on the show.
I don't feel bad. I never want to seem self-indulgent, and then I always tell myself,
You are
you know,
self-indulgent. This is your show as well as mine, bro.
yeah, I know.
Okay. Do you?
I'm grateful for the chance to play on your show since I don't have any music out, but I will soon.
You messed up though. You said it again. It's not my show, it's our show. We are the People's Podcast. This is our show. I run everything by you.
That's probably because you're putting me on the spot. And my brain is going a million miles a minute trying to set the record down. ADHD is an adult problem. I know it's our show.
I have one too. So, but
I'm bafflingly grateful.
It makes no sense. Anyhow, so end it with what you got to end it with, and it's not just our show. Like Jewsby is part of our tribe, so I want him to talk about what he wants to talk about. Everybody equally matters, not just me or you or this is the People's Podcast. I want to tell Showtime before she dips out that I think she might be a part of my tribe too. Just let you know, the universe has really drawn me to you, and I believe that you may be a part of my tribe because I feel that I mirror you like I do, Jewsby. So, Henry, let's wrap this up. How do you want to end it?
I did.
No, Henry.
That's how I do self-love. That's how I always open the door with music.
How you want to end? And there's Lizzie. End it with a quote, Henry.
With a quote?
Or whatever you want the world to know about opening the door to self-love.
I like I said, I do it with music. You got to find your key.
And his was how the rust was won to him. That's his leveling up version. Yes, you missed it, Lizzie. Peace and love though to you. Yeah, we've been on for 2 hours, babe. So Henry's entering or exit out set statement is how the West was won, and that's his leveling up song. Jewsby, how do you want to end it?
Make sure you keep your mental house clean. Most important. That's where you're gonna spend most of your time. So, make sure everything's nice and neat, because you don't want to find yourself playing catch up in this thing called life.
So, I'm ending it this way. If you're opening up the door, you might as well walk through it or leave it shut. Cause you're late because it's at 8:00 every Thursday. I apologize. Yeah. And I'm not apologizing because I feel bad, just to let you know that it's at 8:00 every Thursday. And you miss it. My daughter lost an alarm. She's probably sleeping through it. She misses it every time too. And it's every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. And she was like, man, I can't believe she even set herself alarm to tune in and she hadn't tuned in. It's okay though. Every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm ending this by saying, since you created the door, because matter only exists when you give it attention. So since it started off with a thought process, okay? On a different dimension somewhere, sometime. Whatever it may be, from the guitar to the song that Henry sang, was in another dimension somewhere else already thought of. It got sent to you, into your brain. You took it, spoke it to existence, wrote the blueprint for it, gave it to somebody else who created it, or you created it yourself. At the end of the day, matter only exists when we give it attention, because we're all frequencies. We're all on the same frequency. It's a natural, universal harmony, whatever you want to call it, homeostasis, whatever you want to call it. But it's rhythm. Sound is everything. It's rhythm. So, energy, rhythm, patterns. It starts off with a thought from somewhere else, comes down to your head. comes to a thought from you, and then it becomes matter and exists. So if it's a problem, then remove the matter, let it disappear. But since you created that door, you might as well walk through it. Be mindful and start learning to love yourself from within, because you're very beautiful and you would matter. Because if you didn't matter, your world wouldn't exist. Just saying. May everyone's night be full of positive energy and high vibrations. Tune in for Thursday's show. Next Tuesday, we're going to have a dope show too. And then Thursday's really good for the artists, though. So if you're in the music career or industry or whatever, pass it around. Make sure all the artists you know to tune in for Thursdays before they signed a 360 deal. Please tune in. So may your night be full of positive energy and high vibration. Love is the answer, and you hold the key. Peace and love, everyone.
Peace.
Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people. Rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective. It's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Where you detox from all of the lies you smothered. Where them tries could have killed you. But with faith you recover. Yup. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's so hard to.